All right, it is Chris and Ephraim. We are the odd couple, and it is time for the Summer of Tire Rack Sweepstakes. That's right, they roll on. One winner's already been selected to win a set of 4 brand new tires, and those things can be costly, so this is a great prize. And now 2 more winners have the opportunity to win a set of 4 tires plus installation taxes and fees. It's all valued at up to $1,500. You can enter daily, which gets you a new entry into the contest every single day at foxsportsradio.com to boost your chances of winning. 2 more winners will take home a set of 4 new tires between now and August 7th. To enter and get the rules, again, visit foxsportsradio.com. It's all sponsored, of course, by TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. But right now, we want to go to the big boys, the NFL, and everyone is looking to see what type of season Lamar Jackson has. Got a new offensive coordinator, Todd Monken, who's, vowed to open up the offense, throw the ball more, be more of a pro-style offense. Not as reliant on the run. They brought in some receivers. They drafted Zay Flowers, who you've heard good things about. They got OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr. there, and Rashad Bateman, assuming he's healthy, will be there. And remember, this is a team that they gave the Bengals all they wanted with their backup Tyler Huntley playing, and it was a fumble and touchdown return that spoiled a potential upset for them. And, of course, the Bengals were right there with the Chiefs before losing to them as the Chiefs went on to win the Super Bowl. So Pep Hamilton, former offensive coordinator, now he's broadcasting for NFL Network, he talked about what type of changes are in store down there in Baltimore offensively and how it might not be such a simple change to endure. Here he is.
So I would start by saying that it's never a question about how you build your offense. You build your offense around your playmakers.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson is easily one of the top 10 players in the National Football League. And, over the course of the past 2 years, he's had some durability issues, but nevertheless, I think it's a seismic change in philosophy for this Ravens organization, just with regards to how they want to approach playing offensive football. I mean, this is a football team that over the years, during Greg Roman's tenure, they were one of the best running football teams in the league. And they've played complementary football here at the Ravens for quite some time. So we're talking about, just a philosophical change that will impact how they try and win games.
So, Ephraim, how do you expect this to play out? A better Lamar than ever, or could there be some struggles?
I think it'll be a better Lamar than ever. I think his talent precedes what anyone has to say about him. We know he can throw the ball. The offense wasn't structured to where he threw the ball, stood in the pocket, and threw the ball like that.
Right.
The offense was built around his dynamic and unique athletic ability. They were a run-first offense. And with that, he could still throw the ball down the field. They had one of the best tight ends, if not the best tight end in all of football. And Mark Andrews, he didn't run the ball down the field and then hand it off to Mark Andrews. They actually threw the ball to him. They got some legitimate weapons on the outside, especially bringing in OBJ to help the receiving core down the field. So I'm looking for a better Lamar than we've seen. The notion of you're taking away a superpower when they're not saying he's not going to run.
Right.
What they're saying is we're not going to be a run-centric offense with him running the football anymore. We're going to allow him to pick teams apart down the field. Now, the thing that's going to help is I'm sure a lot of these passes will come off the run fake, the RPOs, the run fakes, and things like that, to where now that second level of defense, they have to step up and hesitate a little bit. That's all you need in the league. You know that. If you step up as a linebacker or a safety, you step up 1 second, brother, it's over for you. So just having the ability to use the run now more as a decoy and to have weapons down the field, I think is going to be tremendous for him. I think this is what he needed for him to take the next step. He's already been an MVP. So when you talk about the next step, we're talking about winning playoff games and finding themselves in the Super Bowl.
I've been saying for the past few years that I wanted to see him with an elite receiver, because you saw Josh Allen made his big jump when Stephon Diggs got there. Kyler Murray had his best year and looked like he was going to be a star when DeAndre Hopkins got there. Patrick Mahomes might not need that. Now he does, as you point out about Andrews, he does have Kelsey, but everybody's not Patrick Mahomes. Most quarterbacks, I think, are going to need that elite receiver. Now, OBJ, I'm hoping he stays healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that they have like a tremendous number one, but I do think overall it's a good receiving core. And
better than they've had. Better than they've had.
Absolutely. And if he starts completing passes with regularity on the outside the numbers, then even if he drops back in the pocket and you can't focus on him right like you used to when they weren't really throwing outside the numbers, even if it's not a designed run, his scrambles might be his best runs coming up in this offense.
And you're absolutely right. And that's the superpower, right?
Yep.
You can call, two-jet Hank and drop him back 5 steps and have him waiting for that outside receiver to break. But given if there's pressure or something like that, I mean, that's a design. You go 23 scatter. You can empty it out, empty the backfield out, right? That's a design pass play. But if for 1 second you take your eye off that man, and the next thing you know, you're going to look up and he 40 yards down the field. I had it when I was Michael Vick's rookie year. You be blocking back there. It's a called pass. You block. Next thing you know, he's 70 yards down the field. You're like, what happened? So now the teams are going to have to start preparing for a passing Lamar. That's just going to open up his ability to scramble, move the pocket, and get chunks. I'm not talking about 5-yard scrambles.
Right.
We're talking about 30, 40-yard scrambles on a broken play or a play that didn't, or a missed assignment on the offensive line. I mean, that's the difference between winning and losing the football game.
And one of the things I like about him, and I've come to really respect about him, is that when people say he can't do something, he really sets out to prove them wrong. And so far, he's done that in just about every situation. I thought, Ephraim, now, when they wanted to move him to wide receiver, I didn't think it was racist. Some people thought that. I didn't think it was about race. I did think, I'm not sure if he can throw it well enough and play in the pocket well enough to be that NFL quarterback. And I thought, Ephraim, and I think this was kind of conventional wisdom, that if he ran that much, he was going to get hurt. Now, the injuries he's had the last 2 years weren't because of scrambling or running. They were in the pocket. So I've come to feel, you know what? The way he's been able to avoid the big hit. I didn't know if he'd last this long as far as being a primarily running quarterback. We saw Cam Newton, how much it took out of him, and he's twice as big as Lamar.
Well, that's
he don't run. He ain't trying to run over people like Cam was, but that's one thing he proved people wrong on. Obviously proved people wrong on he could be a successful NFL quarterback. Won a playoff game. Even being his own agent, which I thought was, not the smartest move. And maybe it would have worked out better with an agent. Who knows? But the bottom line is he got a great contract. And so he even did that well. So I do think he's taking note of people saying that he won't be able to succeed in this offense or throw the ball primarily. And I think he's probably worked tremendously on that and going to have a big year.
The one thing we do know about Lamar is he has confidence in himself.
Yep.
On and off the field. If he believes something to be, then he'll make it be. This man was an MVP of the National Football League when all the great quarterbacks were still playing.
Yep.
Right? Think about that. When all the great, they were all in there. They were all still playing.
Brady, Rodgers, Mahomes.
All of them. He was the MVP of the National Football League at the quarterback position. And them asking him or wanting him to play receiver coming out of college, it may not have been all the way racist, but it was tropey. Right, it was a trope, right? It was like, oh, this guy's an athlete. Oh, let's put him out.
It definitely harkened back.
Right,
yes,
let's put it out there,
No
right?
doubt.
Like because sometimes you don't have the wherewithal or the imagination to understand how great someone is in terms of talent and what they can do. Well, we haven't seen anything like this. So instead of being like, ooh, we haven't seen anything like this, I'm going to take this and make this something special. You relegate yourself to thinking, oh, well, since we haven't seen this, well, let's make him go over there and do that because we've seen that. We've seen good receivers, right? So that's the trope. He's an athlete. Okay, well, let's throw him the ball instead of letting him pass the ball. You know, and so to me, I'm glad he stuck to his guns. I'm glad he proved every single person wrong. And I don't see why he wouldn't prove him wrong again. He did it with the contract. He saved himself, $7, $8, $9 million not having an agent get him the money he was going to get himself.
Probably, and gave it to his family.
Gave it to his family. I would have wrote my mom a $9 million check and be like, thank you, Mom. Boom. Go ahead, boo-boo. Go do what you want to do.